Today, we're diving headfirst into the world of jaw-dropping vehicle overload fails that will leave you on the edge of your seat. Number 20. Front wheels in the air. A truck is having a tough time on a steep road in the mountains. The video shows the truck struggling to climb the hill in India. The person filming it must have been wondering why they were there and if it's safe. Maybe having someone in the truck could help balance it, but it seems like the truck is too heavy with something like timber. It keeps lifting its front wheels off the ground as it tries to move forward. It might have been better to load the truck lighter and make 2 trips instead. Number 19. Overloaded motorcycle. Look at this crazy motorcycle in China. It's loaded with so much stuff that it's hard to tell it's even a motorcycle. There's even a person sitting on the stuff piled up behind the driver. The stuff on the bike looks like big bags of lightweight material, maybe like styrofoam. It seems like there are no rules about how much stuff you can carry on a motorcycle there, or maybe they just don't care. What do you think about it? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Number 18. Crazy overcrowded trains. Next, we have a familiar sight, a very crowded train in Bangladesh. Before you get upset with me for showing this, let me explain. This only happens on 1 or 2 days of the year for a Muslim holiday. The rest of the time, the trains are normal, like trains anywhere else. But that wouldn't be interesting to see, would it? We like to believe in stereotypes and nonsense instead of understanding the reality behind these images. Anyway, here's a very crowded train in Bangladesh, packed with people on every available surface, but it only travels a short distance. Number 17. Overloaded tractor. Here's a story from India about a tractor that's carrying too much stuff. It's loaded with a bunch of cattle feed sacks, so much that it's tipping over. It's kind of funny because it looks like the tractor didn't realize how much it could carry. The driver doesn't seem bothered by it at all. People watching are surprised to see the tractor carrying such a heavy load without falling over. It even looks like it's doing a wheelie because the front end is lifting up from the ground. But the driver keeps going like nothing's wrong, and eventually he probably gets the load to where it needs to go. Number 16. Overloaded passenger vessel. Now, let's talk about a big boat carrying people in Bangladesh. It seems to have a problem like the train we talked about earlier. Maybe too many people are on board because of a religious holiday, or maybe the company running the ship isn't managing tickets well. This ship is called the MV Sundarban 10, and it travels between Dhaka and Barrel. It started a few years ago and was supposed to be really fancy. But why are there so many people crammed onto it? It's supposed to be luxurious, but it's just packed with people everywhere you look. It's not what you'd expect from luxury travel. There are people everywhere you turn, hanging onto every platform and looking out of every window. It's chaotic. Are all these people just having a huge party, or is there a problem with how tickets are sold? Share your thoughts below. But honestly, I don't think this would pass any safety checks. Number 15. Timber truck. Imagine putting lots of very heavy things on a massive truck, even a really strong one. Then try to drive it over soft and loose earth. Well, you might get into trouble. That's exactly what's happening in this long video. Some guys are trying to move a truck full of heavy logs up a hill on soft dirt, and they're not making much progress. It's frustrating to watch. They keep getting stuck, digging their tires out, and trying again. The driver keeps revving the engine, which doesn't help the truck's transmission. They just keep doing this over and over again. It's like they're stuck in a loop, and they might still be there today. Number 14. Overloaded bus. Imagine it's the end of the day. You've finished work, and all you want is to go home, take off your pants, and relax in your underwear while munching on a big bag of snacks and watching TV. But the bus is jam-packed, and the next one won't come for another 2 hours, if it comes at all. Despite there being no space left, you have to squish yourself into a tiny corner next to someone who doesn't smell very nice, and you accidentally bump into others who are just trying to have a bit of personal space. Everyone is annoyed with you. but you do what you have to do to avoid directly breathing the same air as the person next to you. Finally, you make it home, and you can finally relax without pants. This crazy scene might remind you of a video of a bus in India. Maybe it's like the last bus before the end of the world, or maybe that's just how buses are there. Number 13. Truck flips over. It's tricky to haul big stuff and needs lots of skill. There are many extra things to think about. This video shows how many different things can happen in just a short moment. Luckily, the person who recorded it was nearby, so nobody got hurt. It seems like they were behind the trailer, not beside it. We don't know exactly where it happened, but it involved a big truck carrying a heavy steel beam to a work site. The accident happened quickly when the truck tried to turn a corner. The trailer started to go left, then quickly went right and crashed into a concrete guardrail. Because the steel beam was heavy on top, it tipped over and made the truck jerk. It was a scary situation, especially because it could have been worse. Number 12. Overloaded car. I really like watching the show Cops. One of the things I like most is when there's a chase. It's exciting when someone tries to run away from the police. So when I saw this video, I was reminded of watching Cops as a kid. But this video is different. It's just a man trying to go about his business, but he's carrying a lot of stuff in his car. The person recording the video drives by and waves, like telling the man to keep going. They're trying to say there's nothing unusual happening here. And in reality, this kind of thing happens a lot in places where people have to use what they have. So, nothing really interesting to see here. Let's move on. Number 11. Motorbike on Vietnamese road. Once again, we're seeing another motorcycle carrying way too much stuff. This time, it's piled high with polystyrene junk. It's a weird thing happening in many places, including Hanoi, Vietnam. It seems like the usual rules about how much you can carry on a motorcycle don't apply here. This video was taken in April 2021, when there was a strange trend of transporting a lot of polystyrene around. Have you seen something like this before? Why are they moving so much polystyrene like this? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Number 10. 18 people in a 5-seater car. This is a crazy video from the Dominican Republic. The Dominican Republic is a lively country in the Caribbean. It has beautiful forests, beaches, and talented baseball players. But it seems like people there don't care much about safety when they're giving rides to their friends and family. In the video, you see a car door open and people start pouring out. It's like they're coming out of a clown car at a circus. Even big men and babies come out, while soldiers watch in surprise. But this isn't the craziest thing ever. Back in 2009, someone in Cape Town managed to fit 112 people into a small van. This video shows how people sometimes ignore safety rules. It's hard to imagine fitting so many people into a small car. I've been in a car like that, and even with just a few people, it feels cramped. But somehow, they made it work. Number 9. Overloaded truck incident. This story is said to have happened in Afghanistan. The rules for big trucks like this aren't the same everywhere. In many places on the eastern side of the Atlantic Ocean, shipping agents will do anything to make sure their cargo gets where it needs to go. This big truck is struggling with its heavy load, which is about to spill everywhere. Some men are standing around, waving their arms like it's a regular Saturday night somewhere. Even though it's clear that a disaster is about to happen, the crazy driver decides to keep going. And that's when everything goes wrong. With one final push on the gas pedal, the guy spills what looks like a ton of cocaine, but it was probably just flour or building supplies all over the place. Then his friends rush in afterward. Number 8. Overloaded ship. Putting cargo onto ships is a big job in shipping. It's important to do it carefully so that everything stays safe during the journey. Containers are often used to carry things on ships. Usually, they're packed well and don't cause any problems. But sometimes things go wrong. There's a video of a ship carrying logs that shows exactly how things can go very wrong. When you watch it, you know what's going to happen right away. The logs start falling off the ship like they're in some kind of sports video. It's pretty exciting to watch, but also kind of scary. Number 7. Overloaded vehicle. Sometimes people let you down in ways you never thought possible. In this video, you'll see an example of that. It shows how young drivers today are causing problems for everyone. It makes it hard to go out. Sometimes I stay home for days because of it. I sit here talking to you, wondering what I'm doing with my life. Some things are worth paying someone else to do well. You'd think putting on a trailer hitch would be one of those things. But some people still think they can do it themselves. This video shows a small car on the highway going fast. It has a trailer hitch with heavy boxes. The hitch isn't installed right. It's not just about too much weight. It's about young people not paying attention and making life hard for others. But maybe I'm just old and don't get out much. What do you think about all this? Leave your comments below. Number 6. Truck falls off cliff. Another day, another truck carrying too much stuff. This time, it's loaded with lots of logs on top, driving down the road. Weirdly, there are some men walking beside it in fancy shirts. Suddenly, the truck falls over the hill and into some bushes below. The men panic and start filming with their phones instead of helping the driver. I don't get why people find this so interesting. Maybe because in some places, rules about trucks aren't strict, so accidents like this happen often. What surprised me most was that the logs stayed on the truck as it fell. The person who loaded them did a good job, at least halfway. Number 5. 20 cheerleaders in a car. Some people might think what's happening here is really amazing, like breaking a world record. But to others, it might seem like a sad night alone at home. Still, you have to admit the video is kind of impressive. The people from Guinness World Records thought so too when they came to watch a bunch of cheerleaders try to fit into a small car. It was like a strange game of Tetris. The cheerleaders from the Glendale team wore tight clothes and tried to squeeze into the car while the man organized everything carefully. You'd hope they didn't eat too much before, especially beans or carbs, and maybe took some medicine for their stomachs. Luckily, nobody got hurt, and they matched the existing world record. It was a big accomplishment for them, making their parents proud and getting attention online. Number 4. Overloaded delivery bikes. In Shanghai, you often see lots of motorcycles and bikes on the roads. Since Shanghai is a very crowded city, many people need to go places quickly and also take their stuff with them. So, using bikes and motorcycles for transport is really important. This happens every day, and people who live there are used to it. Sometimes, people from more privileged backgrounds don't understand this. They might complain about things like traffic lights or slow service without realizing that in other parts of the world, things are different. What seems normal to one person might seem strange to someone else from a different place. It would be good if everyone understood that they're not the center of the world, and different places have different ways of doing things, which can still be effective. Number 3. Lorry accident in India. We're back on the streets of India, where a big truck is trying to turn very sharply, even though it's carrying too much weight. You can see the truck starting to lean to the side as the driver tries to turn. He gets scared and stops to think about what to do. It's obvious that something needs to be done to help, but instead of doing anything, he just sits there for a while as other cars pass by, maybe hoping the traffic will ease up. He wipes sweat from his forehead. Finally, after what feels like forever, the truck slowly falls onto its side in a very unexciting way. Number 2. Overloaded ship destroyed. A ship sank because there were too many people on it. The video shows lots of men getting onto a small boat, even though it's clear there's not enough space. They go out on the water with no clear reason, and eventually the boat sinks. There are many other people on the riverbank and in other boats doing the same thing, but it's unclear why. Even with a good research team, we still don't know what's happening. Watching this video was a waste of time. Number 1. Tractor sugarcane load. In this video, we have a tractor pulling another tractor decorated for a parade, which is in turn pulling a big load of sugarcane. But there's a problem. They're going uphill, and the first tractor is using a weak rope to pull the heavy load. Sadly, the camera person doesn't show us how it all turns out. Instead, it ends with some strong guys holding up the sugarcane carrier. Nobody really knows what happened next, but people in the comments have lots of opinions. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Also, check out other videos on the screen. See you next time.